We're changing bedrooms around, so that's got me cleaning out areas where I was storing things. And then, of course, regular chores don't go anywhere. You still have to do the laundry and the dishes. And I had planned to be deep cleaning the living room. That's what this video was supposed to be about. And I really wanted to still do that. So I got myself in such a tailspin. I even wore out Leo, but that's okay because at least I have plenty of motivation for you. And hopefully you can learn from my mistakes on how to stay out of a tailspin. As I said, we are moving bedrooms around. So our 18-year-old Crecia is coming down to this 3-season porch, even if it is temporary and even if she has to move back up to her room with her other 2 sisters when it comes time for deep winter. I can keep this room pretty warm until about January and February, and then it's impossible. So we decided we'll just cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm getting the closet cleaned out. This is where I normally have my off-season clothes, some of my Cricut stuff, and then I had other things stored on the top in boxes. So I'm getting it all cleaned out, which is going to get me decluttering. So in these boxes, I had the camera I used to use for YouTube and these little stools that my husband used to prop his computer screen on top of, which I'm going to get rid of. And then I found these baseballs that my son Tyler had when he was young and in Little League. One of them was from his Grand Slam, which is this one. And I had saved it aside to give him at Christmas time. And then I couldn't find them. And I had put them in this box on top of my closet. So crazy. Ugh, dead bug. Gross. You can get rid of this. Get rid of that. It doesn't matter how much I declutter. I am always finding more and more things. You just never know what you have in an area until you start cleaning it out. I mean, I had put those things in there with all the best intentions, I assume. And then I don't even know. So I'm moving out all of this is where my storage closet kind of is. And I do not even know what I'm going to do with this stuff. But also, I have to keep an eye on the rest of the house, keep laundry flowing, keep things going, or I'm going to be really sorry at the end of the day. I try very hard to always keep up with my morning routine, and I think the mistake I made this day was I got going on that closet because I knew it was going to take us all day to get her moved into that room, and I wasn't thinking about everything else I had going. It's really important to me to keep laundry and dishes and those things kept up in my morning routines. Otherwise, I'm just going to be a heap as things get more and more behind. However, I had emptied that closet real quick because I was thinking she could at least be moving down her clothing. And then hopefully by the time she was finished that, then we would be all ready to move on and I would be ready and done with my morning routine. So that pretty much happened. It just got very hectic because I was a little determined to keep up with other things that I wanted to get done that day. That is just my personality. I don't know if adrenaline is my friend or my enemy sometimes. But here I had just noticed that the front of the dishwasher was looking kind of streaky. So I thought, oh, I'll just quickly wipe it down. And this is what happens. I can go a little bit if you give a mouse a cookie. But the good thing was my daughter Crecia had decided to declutter everything she was bringing down. So she went through all of her clothes and all of her belongings that were coming downstairs, and we really got things decluttered for her. She's extremely camera shy and private, so I can't really share that stuff here, but I can basically tell you what happened. You might be wondering, why am I wiping down the refrigerator? Well, what happened was once I get out a wipe to use on the stainless steel, then I think, well, I should keep wiping things until I've used up that entire wipe because you can't really put it back. So then I do that. And then I think, well, I should probably quickly scrub down the sink because it was looking kind of grimy or feeling kind of grimy. You can't really see a whole lot on a stainless steel sink. So then I get out my cleaner that I like to use for the stainless steel and I start scrubbing the sink. It did feel really good when I was done. It's that scrub daddy, scrub mama stuff. And boy, does it work good. That paste that you can buy, it really does work well on my sink. So now I'm just getting things quickly wiped up. Lucretia was still decluttering, so I thought, okay, I'm going to move into the living room and start my deep clean. And I'm starting with the windows, and this ends up being all that I get done in the living room is the windows. And it actually took me 2 days. So you're going to see this spread into a second day. I got the curtains washed already when I had done the dining room. And one of the reasons I'm determined to get these windows done, because look how grimy they are, they're definitely nasty, is one, I want to get them done before cold weather sets in. And two, because I had cleaned the curtains, I didn't want to put them back up till I clean the windows. And after 3 or 4 days of not having any curtains in the windows, my family was like, okay, we're done facing the nation and showing the neighbors, you know, and the people driving by what we're doing every night after supper when it gets dark and the living room is lit, but everything else outside is dark. So if we could get those curtains back up, that would be a real great thing. So in sympathy for my family, I decided I needed to get these windows clean so that I could put my curtains back up. The sound here is terrible, but you might notice I'm actually talking, but you can't barely hear me. But what I'm saying is what I really want to do is paint the trim white. Oh my goodness. Does anyone else have a problem that your brain just never stops and you never stop thinking of projects that need to be done? This is me. And so it's really good that I have a YouTube channel, because then I have someone to share all of this with who will enjoy watching it, because I can really make people dizzy. My poor husband, honestly, I am always thinking of what's next, what's next, what's next. And I always have other projects in mind, and I don't always get to them. So I have a million DIY projects. And I'm really hoping that this is going to be the fall where I suddenly start getting all of these done and knocking them out. In fact, after my next video, you're going to start seeing, hopefully, Lord willing and the creek don't rise, you're going to start seeing us remodeling our upstairs bathroom. We actually got the tub and the shower in. It's actually in my office. When I start the next clips here after this window thing, it's actually going to be the next day, and I will show you what my office looks like from us trying to switch my daughter to the 3-season porch. We always called it the blue room, and it used to be my office, and before that it was Francois' bedroom. So that place has really seen some action. I think it's a large family thing that you just keep moving people around hoping that the house will work better. And so I'm just kind of getting cobwebs wiped away and all that stuff as I put these curtains up. I really only got through this first curtain before the day ended, and actually I went and helped my daughter with her room, getting herself all set up. It's so important for teenagers, I think, just to get a vision of what it's going to look like, even if it can't happen right away. And this window does look 100% better. And then I realized I've got laundry that needs to be folded, so I definitely wanted to get this done. But by this time, it's after supper, and it's starting to get dark out more than likely, but I know it was much later in the day. Honestly, when we planned to bring my daughter down, I knew we had a free day. Most everybody was working. People weren't really home. My husband was there, and he was able to move furniture down after supper, which worked out really great, because then she could get everything decluttered. He could get her furniture moved down. But honestly, I always minimize in my head what it's going to be like. And the truth is, when I'm getting my stuff out of that room and she's getting her stuff out of her room and decluttering all of it at the same time, it honestly just spreads all over the house. It was mostly in my office and in my dining room, and of course in the room that she's going in. And she did a fantastic job. But I always underestimate the impact that it's going to have on the entire house. And I do not do well with things out and everywhere, because first of all, when I see everything, I see nothing. If there's a lot out, I cannot find a thing. And so just that feeling of when everything is out and I know I'm not going to be able to find a thing if I'm looking for it makes me very stressed. Plus, I just did that office declutter, if you might remember, and now I found more Cricut stuff that I had forgotten about, and not even counting the stuff that was on the top of that closet. So I do need to kind of just rethink my office a little. That's going to come up in future videos. I'm going to take you along for my crazy. So buckle your seatbelt. You're coming with me whether you want to or not. I suppose if you see the thumbnail and you're like, oh, she still doesn't got it straight, you could just wait wait until things settle down and then start watching again. Or if you want to be really entertained by complete and total chaos, you can just keep on watching, subscribe, click the notification bell because you don't want to miss any of it. And it's going to make you feel so much better about whatever you're dealing with in your home when you see my crazy. But I do believe that I remember I had a show on Paramount Plus. It's called The Equalizer, and it's with Queen Latifah. And she just plays someone who was in the CIA, and now she just helps people that aren't being helped by the police, kind of as a vigilante. I find it very entertaining and satisfying to watch. So here, she got me through my laundry. Leo has completely given up his job of keeping an eye on me. And now it is the next day. Time to get to the next windows. I do have a mess in my office from everything I cleaned out, but I am trying to stay focused. So my family really needed to get the curtains back on the windows, or they needed me to do that because it was my project. So I am trying to stay the course here. I was up and at it early this morning, and I know I have a good couple of hours before anyone else gets up. So I did give myself permission to finish these windows up before I went and did the dishes for the morning and cleaned up the kitchen. So you're going to see that after I do the windows instead of before. And the kitchen this morning is kind of a mess, so it'll definitely be a quick tidy up as well as dishes. After that, I'll start dealing with my office as well as the dining room, which is kind of where everything landed. So everything is still very much a mess. And you will get to see that here in just a few moments. For cleaners, I'm using the Spray Way window cleaner. I definitely think for the money, that is the best window cleaner. And you can see things are really needing to get clean here. The other thing I was using was the Mrs. Meyer's Acorn scent, which smells really, really good. And then I'm just using a small vacuum to get up all the little bits of dirt. And I am using paper towels. If I were to use cloths or microfiber on this, I can't even imagine. It's so dirty. I would go through, I don't even know, 10 cloths just trying to get my windows clean, because there's only so many ways you can turn a cloth around to get to the next spot. I honestly don't think that the acorn scent smells anything like an acorn. I mean, I grew up here in Maine. I know what an acorn smells like. It does not smell like the Mrs. Meyer's acorn scent, but the acorn scent does smell really yummy, and I am here for it. My best advice when everything has gone topsy-turvy in your house for whatever reason, stay with your morning and evening routines. Never give those up, because they are your morning and evening routines for a reason. It's because those are the things that are most important for you to get done, and you're going to feel super overwhelmed if you let those things go. Then, once you have that done, have your projects written down, do a good brain dump, and prioritize and try to stick to the list. Don't bounce around from one thing to another. That's definitely something I tend to do. It's something I've always had a problem with, and I have to really rein myself in. So even though my office is a mess, I made myself a commitment that I was going to get these windows done. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I end up kind of boxing up the things that aren't put away in my office. I had things that were going to Goodwill. I had things that I needed to reorganize. And I kind of boxed them up. But I didn't put them in my basement. So you see how I have learned from my past mistakes. I'm not going to let that basement get full again. I am going to trip over those boxes until I have time to get them straightened out. And every time I bump into them, it's a reminder that they are high on the priority list, and I'm not going to let all of that clutter bury my house again. If you have any coping advice, I would welcome you to put that down in the comment section. Coping advice for when everything is upside down because you're either moving around or you're going through something. Maybe somebody has come and dropped off things that they think is going to help you, but now you're just kind of going through what would be their Goodwill pile. Oh, that used to happen to me when my kids were young. I would appreciate so much if people would give me clothes and that sort of thing, but it did end up being a lot of stuff that came out of their closet that was either damaged or stained, or loose socks. There just always were things that ended up in there. So whenever your life has gone upside down and your whole house is a wreck, what is your best advice for people to kind of take it easy, take it slow, take it methodical, and keep on moving? So I know that I see symptoms that you guys are answering each other, talking to each other in the comments, which is amazing. And so if you have any advice, I'm pretty confident that the right person is going to see it. So let us know in the comments section, what is your best advice for when you're in that situation? And I know it will help everyone. So thank you so much. I do appreciate even when you drop a little smiley face for me.
He's like, why can't I see out the window? He was watching me wash the window, and he's probably completely confused as to why his little tree is over here and not over there. But you would not believe all the cat sneezes I cleaned off this window. It's just really disgusting.
I've made it. This is the last window. It also happens to be the dirtiest window. I don't know if it's the direction that the window is facing, or maybe the last time I did windows, I didn't do this window. It is harder because of the sectional that is up against it. In fact, when I pull it open, I end up getting it off its track, and I had to wait and have my husband get it back on.
He was getting a nice clean window. Okay, so much better. So last one is the worst, I think. Look at that. Ooh.
It's so funny when you first start YouTube, you're thinking, I can't show people my dirty house. And then after you've been doing it for a while, you're like, ooh, look at the mess. Wait, let me get my camera. And you know, the messier the better, the dirtier the better. I love it when I'm watching a video and I see a really huge mess and I see it get all cleaned up. That is just so completely satisfying. So now I have just the opposite mentality. And when I film in other people's houses and they're like, oh my goodness, it's such a mess, I'm like, don't pick it up. Promise me you won't pick it up. We need to see it at its worst, because that's what makes people feel better. And then we know we're all alike and we all go through these things. So I save all my dirt for you. That's how much I love you.
This one is really bad.
See, in case you missed how dirty it was when I was showing you the window, I even show you the dirty rag so that you know I'm cleaning up a very large mess. All right, let's finish up these windows with a nice, bright, cheery song. We're going to let the sunshine in. The windows are clean. And when we get our house clean, doesn't it just seem like everything seems brighter?
Let the sunshine in today. I'm trying to make this darkness go away. I'll paint with colors and I'll sing until my lungs give out. I'm gonna let the sunshine in today. And I will leave my windows open so that I can hear the sound of people talking and the wind blowing in the trees. Oh, I will open up my eyes so I can see the light. Oh, and I'll try to spread my wings so I can fly. Oh, and the darkness starts to fade. Feels like things are gonna go my way. I'm gonna let the sunshine in the day. I'm gonna let the past be filled with smoke. And I will try to fix what has been broken. And take this weight off my shoulders, 'cause I know yesterday ain't coming back. I'm gonna let the past stay in the cold. I will listen to the ocean, let its unsaid words be spoken. And I'll let my mind be carried by the waves. Oh, I will open up my eyes so I can see the light. Oh, and I'll try to spread my wings so I can fly. Oh, and the darkness starts to fade. Feels like things are gonna go my way. I'm gonna let the sunshine in the day.
Here it is. Here is my mess in my office. No, the tub's not in there yet. It hasn't actually come in the time frame of my life here. We've got Leo here. I have fall stuff over by the blue chair, and I have some things in here I need to go through. I had put some things in there that are going to go to Goodwill. Those are dividers. I bought them thinking that they would be good for towels, but they're really flimsy. They're just awful. I have my labels. I'm keeping those. Just some things. So I'm going to go through. I'm decluttering, deciding what's going to go to Goodwill, which is always a good thing. So it's kind of like I love to move the furniture around, because then say you move the couch, well, it's a good time to vacuum. And then I also love when I'm moving things around like this and changing purposes to different rooms, because it just gets me decluttering again. And I can think that my main areas of the house are very decluttered because it can all be behind a door, in a cabinet, in a drawer. But then when you clean out that drawer, you realize, oh my goodness, I still have a lot of stuff that I could get rid of. And of course, our needs change, so it makes sense. I put the box that's going to Goodwill out on the lawn because my husband has the car. And so when he gets back with my car, my plan was to go ahead and put stuff in the trunk. That was some decor from my daughter that she had decided she was going to be decluttering as well. She also went through and decluttered a lot of clothes. She keeps things pretty decluttered, honestly, probably more so than even myself. Of course, she doesn't have as much as I do, but she is really good at decluttering. And the ironing board is going to have to go in the basement because I don't have any place to put it. I am thinking about creating an area where all of my cleaners are down there. There's an empty box I had brought up for her because she was going to be packing up some things that were keepsakes to keep in the basement. I brought up 2 boxes and she didn't need this one, so I'm bringing that back down. I've got a big photo to put with my other photos. I don't think it's something I'm keeping because it's really big. And of course, Leo can't miss anything, so he's got to come down and inspect and see what exactly I am doing down there. He is just so funny. But I also had blankets that I had stored. They're right there in the corner. That was for whenever we have company, that I could set that room up for guests, but I don't need to have those there. They'll go with my other things that are for when company comes. This is a weighted blanket. That's why it looks so heavy, because it is. My daughter-in-law uses that when she comes. And I am shaking out this rug. There was a rug right here, this blue one I'm putting down. I had thought maybe I would just use that, and I realized, it's not really big enough. So now I have the black one I'm going to spread across, and then the blue one, because I have been feeling like I needed more rug there, but it doesn't look good, so it's probably temporary. And then I have my shampooer, and I have that stick thing that I use for dusting the ceiling. This was some stuff I'm taking outside that I had bought for storage in the car and never quite put in there. You can see I moved the treadmill beside the door, so it's in between the door and my desk, so that's where the treadmill is going to be for now. I haven't figured out where my vacuum is gonna go because having it in the basement is not really gonna work. Can you see I'm just a little frustrated, like I don't know what I'm doing. And then of course my other 2 teenagers, so I had one teenager that left a room that was 3 teenagers, now it's 2 teenagers, and so they got very motivated too to move their room around, and Yvonne got very motivated to declutter and asked for my help. So I end up leaving what I'm doing to help her declutter. But you're not going to see that in this video. You will see that in the next one. I'm keeping the laundry rolling. I'm trying really hard not to fizzle. I'm trying to keep up with things because I know I'm going to need to bring another one of my youngest daughter to work. And so I'm not going to be home the entire day, but the good news is I'll get to go to Goodwill and bring stuff right to Goodwill, which is always my preference. So this little fan is going back up to the teenage room, and then Creasy is deciding whether or not she wants to use that white little lamp that she had. And so my dishes are done. It's time to get them emptied. I usually run the dishwasher after lunch. We are a house full of cooks. So people normally cook themselves a lunch. Then they put their dishes in the dishwasher. Of course, breakfast dishes were in there too. And usually I can't fit supper dishes in as well. So I run it after lunch, and then before supper or whenever it's done, it needs to be emptied again. That way, after we eat supper, it's all empty and ready to receive the dirty dishes, and then it is run again before bed. So that is what I'm doing here. And you can see things are pretty cluttered. It just is part of the process. It just gets worse before it ever gets better. I'm reminding myself that when it's all said and done, when I've got everything put away, when I've figured out new places to put things, when I know that I've gotten more things decluttered, it's going to feel so good. So I try to keep the end in mind. It's going to be so much better. I'm going to be so happy that I did all this. Creasy is so happy already in that room. She just had the best time moving furniture around and figuring out where she wanted everything to go. So it's so much worth the effort to do these things. That's what you got to always remember. What's the why behind what you're doing? And if you've got a strong why, then you'll figure out the how. It doesn't always happen in day 1. It doesn't always even happen in day 2. Sometimes it takes day 3 and 4, but we'll just keep pecking away at it, right, ladies, until we're done. Now look at this foot action. Can you do that?
Oh my goodness. So I knew that I needed to bring my daughter to work, and it's right near Goodwill. So I thought, perfect, I'll stop at Goodwill with all this stuff I've been putting in a box. Because I had put the box on the front yard because my husband was gone because he took my daughter to sign up for classes for her junior year of high school. Because I have one going to public school and I'm homeschooling one. Anyway, so I'm drop off my daughter, and then I realize I cannot believe this, but I left that box on the yard. But I have other things in the car that I had put in earlier yesterday when we moved Caricia downstairs, and she went through all of her stuff. So I'm going to head over to Goodwill with what I have. It's better than nothing. But I did stop at Dollar Tree because I was convinced. I've been watching Do It on a Dime again, and I was convinced I was going to see amazing things. Be like, oh, this stuff's so cute. It's only $1.25. You want to see my big haul? Okay, so I got this because I do like when I'm decorating for fall to have things like up higher to have different levels. So I thought that would be cute, or I could put a candle on it. So I got that. This is for Halloween. I'm kind of hoping this is my only Halloween decor because I'm not a big Halloween fan, but I thought this would be cute to put on the front door. See how cute that is? Because it's cutesy Halloween. Like, I can do cutesy Halloween. I'm not into dark and scary. I know it's fun for some people. More power to you. I love that for you. I'm just not. And then I got some scrubbies. That's it. I literally was not connecting to what they had. They definitely had more Halloween in there than they had like fall. They had one aisle of like Thanksgiving / fall. The little pumpkins they had this year, I wasn't attracted to them. They had some olive green ones, and I thought maybe, but then I'm like, well, pumpkins are orange or white. I'm sorry. So now I'm going to go to Goodwill. Maybe it's good because then there's less things that I will be decluttering next year. So I will be in a very soon upcoming showing you my fall haul, what I have for fall from last year that I didn't declutter, which isn't much. It's a very small box. Then I did go to Dollar General with Yvonne, and we picked out stuff. She was so excited. I could not resist her. But I do love to decorate for fall, so I am going to decorate for fall. So that is coming up very, very soon, especially now that I hit Dollar Tree. I just wanted to go to Dollar Tree first and see if there was anything I liked, and there really wasn't. So now I'm going to go to Goodwill, drop the stuff off, and head home, and then keep on a cleaning. Anyway, I'm just like bouncing around the house and everything is a mess. And I didn't get to tell you that we're actually getting a new tub and shower, and that is supposed to come today. I have no idea where it's going to go. So the bathroom remodel is up and coming. Robin hasn't taken a day off to put that in yet, and we're doing like the whole room. And it looks like, unfortunately, he'll be the one doing it. I really didn't want that for him, but it's really hard to find workers right now. And so he's going to be doing that, taking time off work, but he didn't want to take any days off until he actually saw that the shower and the tub were in fact delivered, just in case. You know how things can go. So that is coming up on the channel, and hopefully more DIYs. I always say I'm going to do more DIYs and then I fizzle, but I really, really want to, and I'm watching more DIY channels to help me get motivated. Oh, side note on the Dollar Tree. Do I keep saying Dollar General? I'm at the dollar store. I've been watching Do It on a Dime, and she talks about all these really cool cleaners that are there, and I didn't see them. So I need to find out where she goes to Dollar Tree, because my Dollar Tree is definitely not like hers. Just saying. One small bag. These little stools my husband used to use to prop up his screen. Oh, is that funny? They're $5. And then Cree had some clothing in here. So I will drop that off. I'm home, and guess what's here? It's the shower and the bathtub coming soon. to a bathroom near me.
All right, until the next one, remember, as always, God loves you, and I love you too, and I can't wait to see you next time.